Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for Beautiful Creatures. So beautiful! And I was not looking forward to this film. It looked like a Twilight ripoff in a way. It looked like a movie that was just trying to be Twilight, the new Twilight, and I wasn't looking forward to this film. Every time I saw the trailer, I was like, that looks awful. I can't wait not to see it, but I'm gonna see it anyway because that's what I do. And I heard some decent reviews. I'm like, you know what, the first Twilight got decent reviews, so that doesn't mean anything. I went to go see it, and well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the story of Beautiful Creatures. Alright, so the story for Beautiful Creatures follows a character named Ethan, who is a 17-year-old high school student who is played by, let me see if I can remember his name, Alden Ehrenreich. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And he lives in a very southern town. You can tell by everybody's accent, the way they dress, and even like the church in the movie, which is, you know, the very typical type southern church where, oh, we hate that and we hate that because it's against God. You know, it's a very generic church, and it's a very generic type southern town. The thing is, I kind of like how they present it in this film, and also I like how it's placed in a movie like this where it's very sci-fi-ish, because later on Ethan meets up with a girl named Lena, and they kind of hit it off, and Lena is played by Alice Englert, and they kind of hit it off. They actually have some chemistry, they talk. She's kind of the outcast because everybody thinks she's a witch, which is very silly. I mean, this is supposed to be modern day, and everybody's like acting like they're from the 1800s, like, she's a witch, she acts different from us, she's a witch, and it's kind of silly, but they hit it off. They actually really have some chemistry, and then boom, out of nowhere you find out that, yeah, she is actually a witch, or in this film, she is a caster. That's what they call them. And Ethan's like, "What the hell? Ooh, I'm confused." But he doesn't, you know, he doesn't just run away and, you know, being scared. He actually still really likes this chick, and he wants to be with her. The thing is that in about 3 months since they started, you know, dating and stuff, 3 months from now, she's actually going to be picked for either the light side or the dark side, and it's kind of silly, but if she gets taken to the dark side, she's going to forget everything that she's ever known in her early life, and of course, you know, not care for this character at all, you know, the Ethan character. But of course he's like, you know what, I'm going to help you. We got to see if we can make you not evil. And it's a very silly plot if you think about it. It's light side versus dark side. If this woman's gonna, you know, do a Luke Skywalker and decide to be the light side, or, you know, be an Anakin Skywalker and go to the dark side. You know, it's just very, very generic in a way. But you know what I really like about this film? The actors. And I say this a lot about movies. You know, the story can be bad, or just generic, but what I like is the actors and the writing and the chemistry between the characters. Alden Ehrenreich and Alice Englert, very weird last names. I really like them in this film, especially Alden Ehrenreich. I think he's fantastic in this, which I am super surprised, because every time I saw him in the trailer, every time he opened his mouth, I was like, Jesus Christ, he is the Southern Edward. He just looks pasty white and looks like he's always there, like constipated in that trailer. Here he's actually very funny, he's always smiling, he's always charismatic. I really like this guy, I really do. I'm like, you know what, I want to see him in more films, and we're about to. He's actually going to be in that movie Stoker that's coming out, which I'm really looking forward to. And he was great in this. He was very funny, and even Alice Englert, even though she's kind of the typical female lead in some these type of movies. I mean, she's a good actress, don't get me wrong. She's not, what's her name from Twilight. She's not like her at all, don't get me wrong. But she is that type of lead where she's very sullen. She, you know, she smiles sometimes, but she's always like, oh, I need to stay away from people because I'm evil and I'm going to turn evil. And, and I'm depressed all the time. But even that I kind of like, because whenever they're on the screen together, they're actually kind of funny and they have chemistry. I really like that. The rest of the supporting cast is fantastic as well. You have Emma Thompson, who pretty much plays the evil dark caster, who is plays Seraphine, that's her name, and she's the evil dark caster who wants Lena for her side, and she's great in this. You have Emmy Rossum, who is a little she's overacting a little bit in this, but I actually kind of liked her as pretty much in a way, the henchman to Emma Thompson's character, and I really liked her in this film, even though she's overacting. You have Jeremy Irons, who plays Lena's uncle in the film, and he's great in this film as well. I really like Jeremy Irons, and whenever he's in a film, I'm really happy, because, hey man, that guy never gets credit, and when he's good in a film, I'm like, you know what? this is why you should pick him as an actor for your film, because he's great. And Viola Davis is in the film as well, and she plays a pretty big part in the film, and I really liked her as well. So overall, I think the acting is great. The actual writing is very funny at times, very clever, even though at times it could get very silly and kind of convoluted with the story. I think it actually definitely works with these characters, and I really enjoyed it. Even though the story itself is kind of silly at times, it can really be silly, I thought it was very entertaining. So I am extremely surprised to say that I really enjoyed Beautiful Creatures. I think its story was a little convoluted, sure, and at times it made sense, but it wasn't anything special. But I did like the characters a lot. I thought they were well written. I thought it was very funny at times. There was actually some really good conversations, some really good dialogue pieces in here, especially with Jeremy Irons and Emma Thompson's characters. I thought that whole scene in a church, if you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. I thought that was really captivating and very well done. And like I said, some of the special effects are actually pretty decent, and it wasn't that boring at all. Like, there was a part in the last 45 minutes where it kind of dragged, but for a 2-hour plus film, and something like this where it's supposed to be kind of like a Twilight ripoff in a way, at least that's what they advertised it as being, I was really surprised that I was not bored in there. I was really enjoying the experience, and even though there were slow parts in that last 45 minutes, I thought it ended with a decent little ending. And even if this does not do good, I think there's sequels to this book, because this is a book that it's based on. I think there's sequels to this book. Even if this doesn't do good financially, I think they ended it off in a perfect way, just to not do another sequel, not do another movie. So you know what, overall I enjoyed this film. Even though it did have some slow parts and the writing wasn't that great with the story, I still enjoyed it very much. So you know what, I'm going to give this higher than Die Hard. I'm going to give this a higher score than I gave Good Day to Die Hard, which I never thought I would. I'm going to give this a 31 out of a 40. I really enjoyed it. So there you go, there's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you and goodbye.